G'day guys, Corey Hind here. I hope you're well. We're going to talk about content marketing, which is a wonderful part of the marketing mix. Hopefully you use content marketing. Now, before we go any further, I would love it if you could subscribe to my channel. So hit the little subscribe button and get onto the channel because I love to teach people about how to improve their marketing digitally and other methods as well. So content marketing is changing all the time, and it's probably because it's getting harder to win. Okay, more and more people are aware now that content marketing, which is video, blogs, social media, all that stuff that brings people to your business, people are aware that it's an incredibly effective ROI. So more people are playing the game. More people in the game, the better you have to be. So I've got 6 things here we're going to go through. So make sure you watch all 6 and we'll detail how you can improve your content marketing to get more people coming to your business. Now, the first point is that you can't rely on just one thing anymore. Okay, back in the early days of content marketing, you could write a blog article about a thing, throw it on your website, and people would come to you. The end. It's just not that easy anymore. Okay, it's still part of the mix, but you need to think more broadly about how to distribute it to more people. So, for example, I've got 3 points here. One being email. You might have, hopefully you've got an email list. You can write that blog article and get it out to your email list. That's one way that you can get people to go to that article. You can use SEO, so we'll talk more about how to improve your SEO, but certainly getting that article or that content on your website is absolutely part of the mix. And also, for most people, you're going to have one social media platform that stands out above the others, so please use that, and feel free to use a couple of them. I think with small business, you might want to limit it to maybe 1 or 2 of your best social platforms, but certainly share it across other platforms as well, because we know that that's useful. So make sure that you're not reliant on just one channel, because it just seems like in 2021, that just doesn't cut the mustard. The second thing that I'd recommend, and I had this idea some time ago, and I've seen it around, and I think it's starting to really gain traction. That is to use transcriptions. So I wrote some articles for a client recently based on some of his earlier video work. But then we thought, hey, why don't we just transcribe it? So we used rev.com, and we got a real transcription of that video, which was a great video. So we've now got a blog article, which is the video and the full transcription, and Google loves that. So you can use transcriptions for turning your video content into blog content. You can also use it to turn podcasts into blog content, which is another way that people are marketing their businesses now, is to use podcasting. If you combine that with the transcription, it can be really powerful. I was talking to a lawyer just yesterday who's a friend of mine, and he's been ramping up his video content. So I messaged him and said, hey, consider doing this, because no one's really doing it in your niche. And if you can be that guy who talks about these things at a level that people understand and give us transcriptions on your blog as well, you will start to dominate. And he was really glad to get that advice. The third tip we've got about content marketing in 2021 is to update old content. So you've probably got some really good stuff that you can go back and improve. So go back and look at your blog articles or even social media articles. See which ones have got the most traction, comments, shares, etc., the most traffic using Google Analytics, and make them better, improve them. Or you might have stuff there that you can get rid of that didn't hit the mark, and you might want to delete that so your website has a focal point on the more important stuff. One tactic I use with clients is to do what I call micro-blogging. So you might write some tiny little articles on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever it is that you are, and just get a feel from people as to what they're resonating with. And when you find some topics that work, expand on those and turn those into bigger articles. But actually test the market first and find out, because sometimes you think you've got a great idea, but actually we need to find out from the humans what they want to learn about. The next one is you need to nail the subject line. So the best YouTubers, the best bloggers, the best SEO people, they do a lot of research about their subject line. It's kind of like an ad. If you don't get hooked in straight away, you're not going to see the rest because it just doesn't attract your attention. So getting the subject line right is an important part of content creation. So a couple of tactics here. Use a question. If people are asked a question, they inherently want to engage in that and answer it, even if it's subconsciously. Use numbers. We know that a blog article or a piece of content that has a number in the subject line or the heading generally gets more traffic and more clicks than things that don't. So think about the thing you're writing about and think, can I use numbers in here in some way? You'll see that often on a lot of the spammy articles around there, which are just trying to attract attention and divert you to stuff that's not related, but they use numbers quite often because we know that people are drawn to numbers. And the third one is use intrigue. I study copywriting, we'll talk about that a bit further, but I study copywriting quite a lot. And the more I go, the more it seems that intrigue is the number one thing that draws people in. So when you're writing something, think, how can I write a subject line or a heading that makes people think, oh, what's behind the door? What's inside there? What's in this article? I want a piece of that. So think about how you can use intrigue to just get people thinking about, wow, what's the next step? Step 5 is to study SEO and copywriting. So I've just alluded to copywriting. It's the power of clarity and making your offer nice and clear and simple and making people want a thing. So copywriting is all about using words to convey a message that steps people down the path of becoming a customer. So study SEO and copywriting whenever you've got spare time. There's plenty of blogs and YouTube content that cover SEO and copywriting. Loads of people do this pretty much full time. I study both of those topics quite a lot. And then the trick is to apply those learnings to your content. Okay, so the more you learn about SEO and how Google ranks things, the more you can apply that to your own content and move up the rankings and get some free hits. The more you learn about copywriting and clarity and simplification and emotive words and walking people down a path of going from their previous state to their desired state after being involved in your business, you can apply that to your writing so people want to read or watch your stuff. So really, probably the two best superpowers I think are around in terms of marketing are SEO and copywriting, because you can transfer those skills across lots of places. And the last of the 6 points was simply get better. Okay, so critique your own work. Have a really good look at it and think, can I do that better? How can I get better next time? Ask friends. Ask people who are colleagues that aren't necessarily friends and say, hey guys, I want you to be brutally honest. Okay, tell me what you think of this piece of work. Can I make it better? What do you suggest? And just take that stuff on board and apply it if you think it's appropriate. Improve, improve, improve. And then the third point is to study the best on planet. So if you're in a particular niche and you know that your competitor or a business like yours overseas gets tons of traffic to their website or tons of LinkedIn attention or tons of Google My Business visits or whatever, reverse engineer it. Study what they're doing and apply it, because these days it's getting harder and harder to stand out online, and we all have to get better and better at doing the stuff. That's why you're here, that's why you're on YouTube, that's why you're on LinkedIn. You're trying to learn how to improve your business. So hopefully these 6 tips for content marketing in particular are useful. And look, if you want to ask anything about this stuff, feel free to comment below. I'll get around to it. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, do that. That would be wonderful. All right, hope those tips are helpful, and we'll talk soon. Cheers for now.